G'day everyone, popping in for our usual Friday live chat with you all today. Nice and cool today in Melbourne. I'm still going to have a beer with you guys though, so say hi if you're popping into the chat. I'm just going to switch over to the other window so I can see you guys once you pop on. So what am I going to drink with you guys today? I'm actually going to have the White Rabbit today. And I think this is from a local place near me, actually. I think it comes from Geelong. Yeah, it's Geelong. So this is from a city quite close to us. G'day, Ben. How you going, mate? Nice and early for a beer, but why not? So I'm going to crack the stubby with you all now. This is a bit of a pre-show. Hi, Tom. How are you? So this is obviously the pre-show, guys. So I will put down on the timeline. Actually, I better start that now because I always forget to start it. I was having trouble opening it. So cheers, everyone. So Richard's in. Ben's obviously here. Casper's here. Jeffrey is here. And Little Ray Blue's here. G'day, mate. G'day, Tony. Good to see you here. Yes, it is early morning. Late night for you guys. But, no, it's only evening for you guys, isn't it? I think you're LA, aren't you? So it's only fairly early, really, for you guys. I've got stacks that I want to talk to you about today, which is going to be really interesting when we go through them. Some interesting news and stuff like that. Not really any rumours, or there's a couple of rumours, but most of it's just news and things like that I want to have a chat with you about. Ross is also here. David's also here as well. I'm going to give this about 2 minutes and then we'll start, guys. So I don't drink beer. I like to pee. It looks like pee. Jen, g'day, Jen. How are you? Palatia's here. Palentia, I think it is. Dave Clark, 350 coffee. As Chuck said, first time live viewer, but long time subscriber. Great to see you here, Az. I love to see new people pop into the live chats. We always have a lot of fun. They always go for a long time, so be prepared for the hour long or so that we go through all of this. Oh, Florida. Okay. What time is it there then, Tony? I'm just curious. Oh, thank you so much, Dave. That's nice and early. I love it. David Johnson said, how are you doing, soul brother? Number one, I am De Brown. He's talking to Tony. Barry Street. Hi, David. Just made it. Well, at least you made it, Barry, so you're in here on the chat anyway. So that's really all that matters. We're getting a stack now starting to pop on. So, guys, if you can, please give me a thumbs up. It does make sure that other people know it's on because YouTube does some strange things and doesn't warn sometimes if you've added the bell. David Johnson said, I'm well, and yourself? Tony Brown. Tony Brown said, David Johnson, I have a crazy cough, but other than that, doing great. Lance is just saying hi. Now, just to let you know too, for the people, Melbourne, obviously, I am still planning on doing the shoot on the 2nd. I think it was the 2nd. Just let me check. I'm pretty sure it's Saturday the 2nd. Where are we? Yep, Saturday the 2nd. It looks like it's still going to be. I'm still waiting to confirm with Kiara, though, because she's on holiday. She gets back today, so I'll be able to confirm fully with Kiara. But at this stage, it looks like we're probably going to meet around about 3 o'clock, I think, Saturday afternoon, sometime in Melbourne, around 2 p.m. So keep that time free. I'd love you to come out and meet me. Meet Kerry. Ben is going to come as well. Kiara will hopefully be there. So bring all your cameras and we'll have a little walk around and we'll all have a shoot together. I will be doing something like this, obviously, with my US supporters and also the people in the UK when I travel over, possibly next year. So I'll do something the same with you guys as well. But at this stage, it's only going to be from the Melbourne people or anyone in Australia, actually, that wants to pop down. So I'd love to see you all. So please pop down. I will give you more details in another cross once I've confirmed everything with Kiara and everything. But it looks like it is going to be Saturday the 2nd, guys. Let's see, 8:30 in Florida. Okay, not too late, is it? That's good enough to have a beer anyway, Tony. Eddie's here. Lance is also here. What else? Brian, hi, I finally caught one of these things while I was still happening in real time. Good to see you in too, Brian. I'm really glad you've made it live. Francisco is here as well. Lance said, David Oastler still loving my A7 III but experiencing heavy banding with silent shutter. Yeah, don't use it, Lance. I just do not put my A7 III into silent shutter. I just use it mechanical. It's not an A9. That's what you have to understand. That camera is not an A9. So really, I would avoid it, really, if possible. Unless you're dealing with just shooting during the daylight when nothing's moving, that will be fine. But anything with light at all, artificial lights and stuff, don't use it. Use mechanical shutter. And it's fine. It works fantastic for that. It's just not an A9, so you do have to be wary of that. No, that's about it. Well, what's the time? It is 10:36. So I think we're going to start. So let me just put on... So actually, before we do that, before I actually start, I want to show you. Now, you guys know that I'm really into lens testing, as we discussed in the last live that we had, and how I love to be technical when I'm shooting lens reviews. So I'm no longer going to be shooting models or anyone when I'm doing any lens testing at all. And what I've done is I've come up with the ultimate lens testing device. And you guys are going to be blown away with this because no one else has even thought of this before. And seriously, I'm going to take this channel to a new level. I'm probably going to get 100,000 subscribers from this alone. And this is just going to be amazing. And I really don't want to show you because I'm thinking about patenting it because it is just such a brilliant idea that I'm amazed no one's ever thought about it. And seriously, B&H, everyone is going to contact me about this and I'm going to be a millionaire. So this is going to be unbelievable. So you ready for this? Okay, be prepared. This is the ultimate lens testing tool. Can anyone guess what it is, by the way? Okay, you ready? Okay. Now, you are going to be blown away, guys, I'm telling you. No, I didn't build a brick wall, little blue eye, but this is better. This is the ultimate lens testing device. Are you ready? Okay. Now, seriously, are you cheering in the internet over there? This is unbelievable because what I can do with this is I can wrap it. I can actually take it around me. I can put it around the model like this. This is the ultimate thing. How good is this? Now, seriously, this is unbelievable. I can just use it like this if I like. I can put it around as a scarf on the top. I can't wait to put this on Kiara on Monday when I test the 28 to 75. Seriously. You can throw the donations at me now, guys. If you'd like to join the Oastler Images brick wall dress, I'll put the details down below. This is unbelievable. And I can't believe that no one has ever thought about this before. This is incredible. I'll leave that at that. I'm so excited. Oh, I love it. You want one of I love it. I'm just put down, I want one of those lens testing devices. I've told you, it's incredible. This is going to go off on the marketplace. This is going to go nuts, and it's mine. Sorry, I just can't believe that anyone has not thought about that device before. Oh, God. Anyway, we're going to start the show, guys. This is shocking. All right, let's have a look. So I'm going to go to the first one, which is 788 minutes. All right, let's get serious. I'm just reading all these comments. Oh, my God. Please make sure, too, if you can, put down your questions on that. Oh, boy. My glasses are fogging up. You know what? The thing is, I really should be serious about this because there's millions of dollars to be made from this lens testing device that no one's thought about. I love it. Oh, I'm going to have a drink. Oh, boy. I've got to change the time now because I've taken twice as long as what I thought. What? Oh, boy. That's good. All right, anyway, let's get down to business. So, first thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about, I'm not going to look at the live stream because it's cracking me up. Oh, boy. Now, I wanted to talk to you about Sony has revealed their camera strategy. And it's interesting because it's sort of, I'm not going to read the whole thing because I think it'd be boring you half to death, and especially after you've just seen my lens testing device. This is just going to be pretty boring for you, but I thought I'd go through it anyway. It really is, after you read this, it's basically just Sony saying that they're going to push themselves more and more and more in the marketplace. And there's an interesting thing which I'll talk about in a minute. Oh, God, I shouldn't have shown that because I should have showed it at the end because I'm just trying not to read the comments. So the thing is with this, basically they're really saying they're going to be pushing their sensors and everything else. And if you look at it, they're saying that they've received 20% market share. Now, that doesn't sound amazing if you in itself, but it is if you talk about that they're dealing with just a still camera market in 217 by value. And they're only third behind Canon and Nikon. And that really is an amazing achievement in how long that Sony have been out using their mirrorless. So it really is a pretty amazing feat if you think about that. And they're just growing and growing and growing, and especially since the A7 III has been announced and soon the A7S III will also be announced. I think they're just going to keep growing and growing. There was another thing back here too that they're saying they want to concentrate on their strengths, and that is more like their higher end models, which is interesting. But I did notice that the second part of this, which I found somewhere else, was saying that they moved to dominate image sensors and music. Now, it's not the music part, but I want to talk about, but it's saying that they're going to invest $9 billion in their image sensors, which, you know, is pretty amazing. Now, a lot of that too will go to, obviously, phone sensors, but there would be a hell of a big chunk too of that will be going towards their camera, their normal camera sensors as well. So things are looking really amazing if you look at how Sony are pushing and progressing. And I talked about this a while ago, a few videos back when we discussed about how Canon were going to enter the market and everything else. Sony now at the moment are that far ahead with everything they're offering in the camera that it's just amazing what they're going to offer now in an xt100 or the A7S III. I can't wait to see what those cameras are announced as later on in the line. I think they're probably going to try and bring something out that's just going to kill whatever Nikon and Canon have to, you know, release at that time. So it really is an interesting time to be shooting Sony, that's for sure. And if you look at the way they're expanding, they're talking about their lens lineups expanding, and it has expanded a lot. And it's also growing with third-party lenses as well, which is also fantastic as well. So the whole ecosystem now of Sony is just starting to expand. And I think as they move along, more and more people are going to actually join onto this bandwagon as well. So it's looking really, really rosy. So I will put that link down below so you can have a read of that and let me know what you think about that, and put that in the comments down below if you like. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. It'll be probably pretty boring, but I will put the links there. The next one I wanted to talk to you about is this Tokina lens, which is 13 minutes. Because the first views are out with this lens, and I'm not sure whether many of you are interested in this lens or not, but the first reviews are out, and I just wanted to show you the cons and the pros of what they're saying about this lens. And the interesting thing is that they're actually saying the sharpness of this lens is excellent in the entire frame. It's saying that it's actually sharper than the Loxia 21 f2.8 everywhere in terms of sharpness. So that is really interesting. It's saying it's got nice bokeh. Build quality is good, but not as good as what the Zeiss lenses are. The Zeiss lenses particularly are always very well made, particularly the Loxia. The lens is small and lightweight. Distortion is low, as well as CA. But the neutral things, they're saying the AF is a welcome addition to the lens, but it's rather noisy. And this is the downside I've found with any of these often the third-party lenses, is the noise in video tends to be not very good. like for video, it can be quite noisy. I've just noticed that Jason Vog just posted a video, I think yesterday or something, with the Tamron 28-75, and he was showing the video aspect, auto focusing of that, and I'm not sure if he mentioned noise on that lens, but the video autofocus was amazing, and that backed up what I showed when I previewed the lens a couple of weeks ago. That was fantastic. But it seems to be that some of these lenses that they bring out don't have the silent motors, so they can be not that good if you're dealing with video, and that's what they're saying in here. Because cons, they're actually saying that it's too slow for faster action in AFC mode, and it's also saying that video would not recommend to use in AF due to the video noise and hunting. So it hunts a bit in video, which was completely opposite to what we've seen with the Tamron 28-75, and I'll test that Monday when I pick it up with Kiara. So you know, anyway, it's an interesting lens, but it is there is a review out now as well. So let's skip on to the next one, which is 15. So I just wanted to say that the Tamron is now shipping. I noticed a few people I've seen online have got their lens. Let me know too in the live chat. I'd be curious to know if any of you are still waiting, that were on pre-order, or whether you've all got it, because I'd be really curious to know. But it is now shipping, and so it will be shipping worldwide now, I'd say. Excuse me. Like I said, I'll be picking that one up on Monday, and I've got that for the week that I can just test it and see how I go. And I've got a few other things that I'm going to test for them as well, so I'll let you know about that in a future thing. But yeah, so it is available now. So you're obviously going to start seeing much more, or many more reviews coming out now in the coming days. So it's just a good thing if you were thinking about buying it, or you are actually waiting on getting that lens. Like I said, Jason did a video of it, and the autofocus with him in video particularly was outstanding. The only thing was, and I noticed it with Jason's video, was he was using the A7R2 and the A7 III, and he admitted that was an issue because he was using two separate cameras, and the A7 III was focusing quicker with a Tamron than the GM version. But that could also just be the camera. It would have been interesting if he had, and he admitted that, two A7 IIIs to test with, because that would have been interesting to see how they compared in that respect, because it could just be that the A7 III is just a lot faster focusing than the A7R3. But let me know anyway what you think about that. The next one, which is really interesting if you've got one of these lenses, is that the Sony 24-105 lens is actually now more expensive to buy second-hand than the original price. And this is incredible. I mean, it's unbelievable. It shows you how hard that lens is to actually purchase at the moment. They're on back order basically everywhere, and it's really interesting. Now, whether that may now free up a little bit that the Tamron's out, but remember, if you are now just trying to buy a Tamron, you're going to be on a long waiting list to get that as well, the 28-75, so it probably won't make a difference. But it's interesting that they're saying that they're more expensive now to buy than if you bought it new. Cheers. So that's a really interesting scenario. I've had a lot of people talking to me about should they sell the 24-105 and get the Tamron, and it's a hard decision. I still think the 24-105 is the ultimate travel lens, but you still need a wide-angle faster prime, or some form of a prime, whether that's a 35mm prime or whatever, but you'll definitely need a low-light prime, because remember, you're dealing with an f4 lens there. So if you were going on travel and you're dealing in a very dark scenario, you do need something that's a little bit faster. So, but I honestly would think I wouldn't be selling a 24-105. I mean, I'd like that lens myself for travel. I'd adore that lens for travel, because the good part about that is it's got such a great reach. You know, you've got your 24mm wide, and then you've also got your 104. And then if you're shooting JPEG and you start to use clear image zoom, well, then clearly you can go way up over that. You're dealing with up near 200mm. So it really is a fantastic lens if you're dealing with travel. And like I said, I'd love that. Lens myself, and it might be one that I get somewhere down in the future. But anyway, let me know if any of you are thinking about selling that lens, or you're still waiting on it, because I'd be curious to know. All right, so the next story is this. Let me just put down the time. 19. So the next story is this. So Samyang will announce a new 24mm 2.8 FE autofocus lens. Now it's already listed at Zoll apparently, so that it's already listed there. So it obviously is coming out. So we're just waiting now on a time frame for when this lens will be coming out. It's probably not a lens that I would buy though personally. I'm not really interested in the 24mm focal length. I love the 35mm focal length, and I think if I was going to do that, I'd want to be running at 12 or 14 if I was going to get a wide angle. So it's not really a lens that interests me, but it may interest you, and I just wanted to share that with you so you could see that there is another Samyang lens on the horizon. Hopefully, this being autofocus, hopefully it's a silent lens, because this would be a great lens perhaps to stick on a gimbal or something like that. It could be a really good video lens. So hopefully, yeah, it'll be worthwhile. Now, they're not saying prices, I don't think, yet. All they're saying is it's going to be announced in June, July. There is no price yet. But it's basically a pancake. It's going to be a pancake lens, so it's probably going to be fairly nice and small. And they're saying there that it's going to be the same size as the 35 2.8, and I love that 35 2.8 lens. I use that all the time, and it's great on a gimbal, for instance. And it's also a lens that Kerry loves to use when we're shooting weddings. She'll shoot with that all day if she could. She loves that lens. She really does adore it. And 2.8 is really beautiful on full frame. You don't have to go more than that if you don't want to. 2.8 is actually quite beautiful, and it's very sharp, that 35 Sony 2.8. Next story. Now, this is one that interests me. Let me just put down 21. Because you can now pre-order the Sigma 105. You can pre-order it from today here in Australia, but I mean, obviously that's US, so it'll be tomorrow for you guys. But you can pre-order it. Are they saying how much it is? I don't know if they are. Let me just open this up, because I'm just curious to know if it has a price with it. No, there's no price there. Now, it might come up tomorrow once the pre-orders open, because it's saying it's coming soon, so you can't pre-order it. B&H is just listing it at the moment as just saying coming soon, but according to Sony Alpha Rumours, they're actually saying that the lens will be announced for pre-orders on May the 25th. But there's no price there. But this is a lens definitely that I would love to get a loan of from someone and try it and see if it fits into my workflow. I've never shot with anything like that before, so I'd just be curious to see what it's like. I mean, 105mm at 104 is really insane. Now, it's going to be massive, but I really would love to try it just to see what the separation's like and whether I can use that in portrait shoots wide open. It may be a bit too shallow, I'm not sure. So I'd love to try it and just see. So it's definitely something that I will either hire or get from somewhere when it's released sometime. Try it out, film it for you, and so you can all have a look at too and see if you like it. If it's something that I really did adore once I've used it, I may get it just to be shooting portraits with. It's probably not something that I want to carry to a wedding because it's going to be so big, but it definitely could be something that I could offer my model shoots and things like that. So it could be something that I use for that. But anyway, it is announced that it's going to be pre-order tomorrow, so whether anyone's going to get it, let me know in the chat whether anyone is going to jump the gun and put that on pre-order, or whether you're going to wait to see some reviews, because I would be curious to know. By the way, in the chat, live chat, if you want to make sure you get my attention, please put at David Oastler, because it will grab my attention to the questions we have at the end. So next story, we're at 24. So the next story is really interesting. If you are using Godox, and it's the EC-200 extension tube, and I laughed when I saw this. I thought, oh boy. Let me know whether anyone would be interested in doing this. It would make a great macro ring. Basically, it's giving a sort of high-end ring light type look that you can get here in fashion, that you can sort of see that it's shot. But it's not something, definitely not something I would want to be carrying around because it'd be heavy, bulky. I mean, I probably would prefer to use just a ring light if I was going to do that. You can see the lights in the eyes, which are interesting. Your normal ring light gives you your full circle, but I just think if I was going to go down to this extent to get this type of look, to be honest, I think that I would probably tend to just get a ring light. But anyway, it's something that's available. It will work with the Godox EC-200s. They're just extension heads. I mean, what do you guys think about this? Do you think it's something you'd like to shoot? Do you think it's a gimmick? It could be a great macro type lighting though, but again you can use ring lights for that, and there's smaller flash units that you can stick on your head. But it's just, I just think it tends to be ridiculous in size. I'm just being honest with you guys. I just wanted to show it to you. Like I said, for me personally, there's no way I'd want to be lugging this around. But let me know what you think. I'm just curious to know what they think. It's just saying, throughout my career, I've used various types of ring flashes and parabolic umbrellas. I'm not sure what he's saying about whether it's worthwhile or not. I'm not going to read the whole article because it's definitely something that I would probably never have. It's only, I just noticed down here that they've said this new kind of quad ring setup offers also additional advantage over traditional ring flashes of allowing individual control of each flash heads in turn, which permits me to limit the output of flash hitting the model's face. So I can understand what he's saying there, that when you have ring lights, and I have used ring lights before, that the control is overall. With this, you could basically determine from, you know, like you could control one side more than the other or top or bottom, but I don't know. Look, it's just not anything that I ever would want to get into, and I can't see them selling many of these at all, but let me know in the chat anyway what you think about that, but I think it looks quite funny. I'd love to be doing a wedding like that. That'd be hilarious. Perhaps I could use that with the wall this new device that I've got with the wall to test lenses. It might be another thing that I could really look professional if I'm shooting with that. All right, next thing. Now this is interesting because this is something that I hope Sony pays attention to, because Fuji just announced this new camera that's come out for $600 US. But the thing that, and this is the really only reason why I'm showing this, because look at this. Sony, pay attention. Look at this fully articulating screen. This is all that I want them to do with the A6500 or A6700. Please, Sony, please learn what other companies are doing and give us an articulating screen, please. You would sell bucket loads of them. But this looks like a really nice little camera, actually. And again, Fuji makes wonderful stuff. They really do make wonderful cameras. And I was tempted to go Fuji when I went to Sony. The only thing was it's not full frame. And their video at that time was not very good. And that's the reason why I went to Sony over Fuji. But I really do like the Fuji cameras. They always have that beautiful retro look about them. But, you know, it's that really interests me, is that articulating screen. And I'm just hoping Sony look at what these other manufacturers are making and think, we do have to offer this, obviously, to people. And remember, I spoke about that before with, they have to make something different with the A6000 series or A7000 series against the full frame. And that's where I'm starting to think they possibly may put an articulating screen in that and target that camera towards vloggers. Because there really is nothing in the Sony line apart from the 5000 series that has that in it. So, you know, like I said, they seriously would sell bucket loads of these if they just did that one thing. If they did that one thing, I would buy one tomorrow, and I seriously would buy one tomorrow. So please bring that out. But, you know, it's just something that, again, they're just looking after someone. What else have we got? So the next story here is this, because this is interesting. 28, 29 minutes. This next story is this guy, does it mention his name? I don't think it does. It must mention his name. Let me just scroll down and then I'll tell you about what he's done. Oh, so it's Keon Lam is an international photographer based in San Francisco. Okay, so what he's done, he's photographed a whole wedding with a 35mm. Now, there's no way known I'd ever do that, but it does almost fit into, and his work's lovely, by the way. It fits sort of closely to the way that I shoot, though, except for I'm basically just adding an 85 into that mix. And occasionally I'll have a wider angle lens, a 16 to 35, and occasionally I'll run the 70 to 200. But like I've said to you before, 90% of my wedding is the 35mm and the 85mm. And probably 70% of it is the 35. I mean, I do use the 75 the 35 a hell of a lot. And you can sort of check that what he's done is just tested himself. So he's shot 35mm. He's also saying that most of the weddings that he does shoot, I think he said somewhere along the track that he did shoot most of these weddings with a 35mm anyway. I think 75% or something. And I might be able to find that a little bit later. He's also saying he loves the minimal focusing distance as well. But, you know, he's saying he's shooting with his zooming with the legs, and that's what I'll do. I'll just move in and out with my legs when I'm shooting with prime lenses, and I do really adore shooting with prime lenses. But I really wanted to show you, like, this wedding that he's actually shot with a 35, and it's quite lovely when you look at it, but it's interesting what he's done. It's certainly not something that I would do, though. I do still like to go to the 85, and he does talk about that at the end, and I'll show you that near the end as well. The other thing too was, and I'm being honest with you guys here, that obviously the couple here is very flattering. She's very, very slim. So that's one big plus with shooting a slim bride with a 35. You certainly would not want to do a larger bride with a 35 all the time, because the longer lenses have a slimming factor in them, and it's more flattering. So that's something else that you'd have to go. But there's nothing better than doing these type of shots with the 35. And this is what I always do with the 35 that I've got, is always the detail shots. And it just is just such a beautiful focal length. And it really piqued my interest when I saw this, because I thought, wow, that is basically the way that I shoot all the time. And he's saying in here that I had so much fun shooting the wedding with a 35 that I felt a little guilty about not using more of my gear. It takes a little bit of practice and to be comfortable with your gear. Where was he talking about? And I think it might have even been a manual focus lens, though, which is really interesting that he spoke about it. He basically said he wouldn't do it again, because he said he normally shoots with an 85, I think. It said, will I shoot another wedding with just a 35mm? Probably not the entire wedding, but I know from experience that I can get 75 to 90% of everything I want with this one lens, and use one of the other lenses in my bag when the situation calls for it. And that is exactly the way that I work, and that's what I've been telling you all along, that you do not need, if you're trying to get into wedding photography or events photography and things like that, you do not need to spend the money to go out and buy G-Master lenses like 2470 and the 70 to 200 G-Master lenses, which are ridiculously expensive. They're fantastic lenses, but you definitely don't need to do that. You can shoot a whole wedding with a 35mm, and that's just been proven, but I would also have an 85. But you could clearly get something like a Samyang. If you didn't have much money, you could get something like a Samyang 35 or something like that if you wanted to, the 1.4, and then you could get the Sony 85 1.8. And I seriously could shoot the whole wedding like that if I had to. The only area where you may come unstuck occasionally is if you had to shoot wider than that. I could always get by with not shooting longer than the 85mm, because I can always crop in a little bit. But there are occasions where I need the 16 to 35. So it may be that just to back yourself up, that you should have a wide angle prime as well, something like a 14mm or something like that, just to give you that ability to go wider. I often use the cheaper version. I haven't got it here, but the cheaper version is to get the 10 to 18mm, the F4 Sony version, and that will give you wide enough, because you can shoot that even on the full frame at 12mm to 16. So that's also a great option as well. But I just want you to understand that you do not have to go out and buy these crazy expensive lenses. Like even the Sony G Master 85. You don't need to have that lens either. You could easily do it with the Sony 85. So at the moment, like I said, there's no better time to be shooting weddings and events with Sony, because you can get an A7 III for $2,000 US. You can also go out and get the 85 1.8, and also something like a Samyang if you wanted to, a 35 1.4. Fantastic. And you could easily do a wedding with that gear. Easily. You don't need anything else. So don't let anyone sucker you into saying that you need all this really high-end gear. You don't. So it's really something interesting that you can look at. Next question. And we can discuss that in the live chat if you want to go through that in a few minutes when we go to the live chat. The next story, what time we're on? 34. I'll make it 35. So the next story is this one, which is really interesting. This royal wedding thing. Cheers anyway, by the way. I read this the other day, and you know, the funny thing is, I'll just come back to me because I whinge when I don't have 2 hours with my couple, and this is the way. I'm sure in America you may be different, because you often have where your bride and groom do a look before they actually get married. Well, that's not done first look is not done in Australia, and it's not done in Europe. It's basically an American thing. So we work totally different to you guys, and I'll explain how it works for me. That when I do a wedding, we don't shoot the bride and the groom before at all. We shoot them separately, and then they only see each other for the first time in the church. And I know you guys would do that occasionally, but most of you do this first look thing. And I've done a couple of those here in Australia, but most of them are the way I've just said, that they only see each other for the first time that they come into the church. After they finish the church ceremony, we then go off and do location shoots with the couple. Now that, to me, I usually ask for 2 hours to do that. So after they finish that, I want 2 hours with them on location. That's not taking family portraits straight after the church. That's just to go away with the bride and groom and the bridal party. So I like to have 2 hours with them to go wherever we're going to go, and then we go to the reception after that. So that gives you a timeline that I like to work for, and that's what I really push when I have the meeting with the bride and groom, because we go through all timelines. And I mentioned to them that I need this time to do all of your beautiful work that we do to create for your album for later on. So I wanted to sort of give you that to explain what's happened here, because it's really interesting that in this, the photographer that did Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's wedding had 3 minutes. And this is where I laugh, because I think, oh my God. So he had 3 minutes to do the photos that he actually shot. And it was really interesting because I couldn't believe it. And he said that the funny thing was about this shot was that, and I love this shot actually, but apart from his hands chopped off, but he said that with this image, they were so tired that she just sat down there and fell into his arms, and he snapped the image and he got it instantly. But I really thought that was funny that it came out, and he said, we went out there and we had about 3.5 minutes to take some quick shots because everything was running like clockwork. And I just thought, wow, I whinge about having 2 hours, and, you know, he had 3 minutes. Oh, my God. I just think that's just incredible. So let's go to questions. So I'm going to open it up to questions, guys. So fire away anything you like. Now, I just want to ask, I'm just going to do something. What time are we on anyway? 38 minutes. I'll make it. Now, I did have on the thing the other day, I posted a comment to ask if anyone had any questions about... Oh, let me just go to this, actually. Oh, no, this... So, basically, I asked the other day if anyone had any questions, and I wasn't sure. One guy asked, Stratos said, hey, David, would be great if you could cover on how to take portrait shot with circular vanity or other lights. I'm not quite sure what he was talking about, and I've asked him in there to sort of mention what he was meaning, and I think he might have been talking about beauty dishes. I'm not sure, but anyway, I've left a message for that, so I can't really answer that one. Vilkan said, what can we expect in Sony APS-C lineup? Well, I think, what can we expect in the Sony APS-C lineup? Well, we're still not sure, but there's definitely going to be, I believe, another camera to replace the A6500. And clearly, that probably is going to be an A6700 or it's going to be an A7000. It might just depend on how they want to name the camera. And we discussed it a little bit before that I think an articulating screen would be the thing that would be called for. Hopefully that's what they'll have. And I'm really hoping that they bring out 4K 60p even if it's only for a few minutes. So that's what I'm really hoping that they do with the APS-C lineup. There probably may be some new lenses announced, but I really don't think that Sony are going to get rid of that lineup, but they do have to make it different enough from the A7 III to stop people just saying, well, I'm just going to buy the A7 III. That's why I think you're going to find that that camera is still going to be quite different. And that might be one area where I said that they could do that with the articulating screen. So, you know, that's what I'm hoping. Guys, could you please just give me a thumbs up too? I know I keep asking, but I'd love to get more people on board. So that's what I think will be happening with the APS-C. So no way is it going to disappear. I don't believe that for a second, but we're just waiting to see. I still think that the next camera they're going to announce is going to be the A7S III, and then perhaps the A6700 is going to be announced after that. That's just the way I think it will be. I don't think they'll announce an A6700 first. That's just what I think, because they really have been waiting a long time to release the A7S III. So that's where I think that's going to be. Source left something saying 50mm 1.4 for Sony APS-C. I've never used that lens, don't know anything about it, so I just can't comment on that lens. The only lenses that I've got for APS-C myself are the 18-105, which I love. I've got the 24 2.8, which I'm using here on this camera, and I adore that lens because it gives me the 35mm focal length, and I've got the 10-18mm. They're the only APS-C lenses I've got, and most of the time I say to people it's better to buy full frame lenses and then use them on your APS-C camera, because then at least if you go full frame you can use those lenses on the full frame camera. And even though some say there's a penalty loss, I've never ever noticed an issue when I've used full frame on my A6500. So if you can, I'm suggesting really to buy the full frame lenses, and then you can go both ways. Someone has also said, Femi said, please discuss any good third-party batteries. So I think the only good, and someone might be able to comment in the live chat now, but I think there is only one new battery, isn't there? What's it called? The Wasabi, I think, is the only battery at this stage, I think, for Sony, because he's saying that he's had trouble getting the Sony branded batteries. It said when I rang them, he said the ETA was the end of June, which makes me consider third-party batteries. But I know now that the Wasabi batteries are very good according to reviews and everything that are out there. So perhaps what you could do, Femi, is just go and purchase some of the Wasabi batteries. But someone in the live chat may discuss that too coming up. Anyway, so let's go down the chat. So I just wanted to thank Dave Clark for the donation. Thank you so much, Dave. Now we'll keep going on down here. So is the audio bad? Tony, is it? Can you let me know now if the audio is still really bad? That's really interesting. Not sure what it is, but your audio is terrible today. Oh. Just let me know if the audio is still bad. This is all the brick wall. Thank you so much for that, mate. Thank you so much for the donation. You would look better in pink. David Johnson's going to buy 1.5 million of them now. Just let me check the audio. Just let me see if that is correct. It seems to be all right. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. Just let me check if the audio is correct. Just let me know in the audio. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, it's weird. Oh, well. Mick said send one to Jared Poland. Now, if you're coming in late, I'm going to explain what's happened here. I've bought the ultimate lens testing device, and people who are in earlier know exactly what I'm talking about. But this is the device that I'm going to patent under David Oastler, because if you're into lens testing, this is going to be the ultimate device. And I'm going to wrap Kiara up in this, so I won't be taking her in any more outfits. She's just going to be wearing this device. This is the ultimate lens testing device. Too late if you wanted to get on that now. Donations are being accepted if you'd like to get in and be a part of the $1 million industry that I'm going to set up with this device. Shark Tank, here I come. Cheers. Someone said Shark Tank brick wall. I love it. Francisco said, you sure know how to make us happy? Oh, thank you, Francisco. I know, stop drinking so early. It's early here, isn't it? Richard said he hoped the brick wall comes in all sizes. Barry said, you don't take yourself seriously. Good on you. Dan said, hi from Lauderdale. Mario's here as well. Hi, the Panda Photographer's here. Hi, Panda. Jen said, can't believe I managed to grab the new Tamron 28-75 today from my local dealer. That's great, Jen. Congratulations. See, that always happens. Some of these dealers get cameras, lenses in that are extra than what they had in pre-orders, or it's just out of the blue, and it can always happen. Ray saying hello. Michael said, the Eagle has landed. Code for I got my Tamron today. Super lightweight. That's fantastic, Michael. So glad you got it. It's so light, isn't it? It's amazing. Tony Brown said, of course, Michael got his first. What else have we got? Dan said, oh, that's someone else. Ida Brown, those are David Oastler's feet in the pictures of the bunions. Francisco, damn, why not 85mm 1.4 for Samyang and 14-50mm from Samyang are quite good AF lenses. Yeah, well, they are. I've used the 35. I haven't used the 85, though. I haven't used those other ones. I'll have to have a look at them one day, though. What else? Robert's just saying hello from Alabama. David said, you better start working out before you get that Sigma 105. Yeah, I know, it's going to be very heavy. But David, the reason why I'm thinking about that 105 is not to take with me all the time. It's just to bring out to do an occasional shot with it. So to be in my roller bag, and I just grab it out occasionally and have a shot with it. For me, it might be worthwhile. Obviously, if you're not running a professional business, and it might not be, but it might just give you a different look. And that's what I'm interested in, is to see what type of look that lens gives me. It certainly wouldn't be one that I walk around with all the time. That's for sure. They're talking about the Godox looks like a space-age wagon. I know it does. It looks crazy, doesn't it? Steve's just saying greetings. What else? Peter said, God help me, I'm considering purchasing the X-100. Well, Peter, that would be a great camera. I think that would be a fantastic little vlogging camera. And it does look like a beautiful little camera. You shouldn't say that at all. There's nothing wrong with Fuji at all. Richard said, can you shoot an entire wedding with the new Tamron 28-75? I could, but I wouldn't do it, Richard. You could do it, yes, probably. But it wouldn't be something that I would do because I do like to shoot wide open, and that's the thing for me. I like to shoot at 1.8 and 1.4. So for me, that would not be an option, and that's why I don't shoot with any of those zoom lenses really, because I like to be shooting at 1.4 and 1.8. So, but yes, you could. There's no reason why you couldn't, but you'd still need something possibly wider than that, though. But you could probably get by, yes. Mario saying audio's okay, so that's good. Your audio is like an echo. Is it still echoing? Let me check. I'm just going to check something in here that... I'm just going to see if there's two things on. Sometimes if you have two... I can't see anything that's showing that. Let me come back to here and I'll just check. Yeah, I've only got one speaker. It's weird. I don't know why, Tony. I've got no idea. Where else are we? Jackie said there is also third-party battery from Lafire. Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. I haven't heard about that one, Jackie. Barry, audio is great. Thanks. Hi, all you can hear him, but doesn't it sound different? Sounds great. You're not having a beer, are you, Tony? That's funny. I think it must be something on your side. This is going to be more popular than Pink Floyd. We've still got the wall jokes coming out. Waiting for FedEx like a kid with camera. Is that for the lens or is that for the Sony a7 III? Honestly, that Sigma looks like it might belong on a monopod. Yeah, possibly. It might be something that you would have to have on a monopod. Lovic said, sounds like his audio is off for me. Tried on multiple devices. Normal, his audio is crisp, but today he sounds like he's using a mic on the camera, not on his boom mic. Well, let me tap it because I'm sure it's from there. Yeah, it's definitely the boom mic. So I don't know what's going on there. Mick said you must have 2 YouTube open. Francisco said Sigma says that the 105 will be a Bokeh Master. Let's wait, and that's what I'm waiting on, Francisco. I really am waiting on to see how it looks, because remember, I am very tempted to get either the 135 or this 105, and I'm not sure, and I might try both. So the thing for me is I might show I might try the 35 for portraits, and I've tried that before and I did like it, but I've never tried it extensively because I've always shot the 85 so much. So I'm really interested to see what the difference is between the 35 and the 105. And the thing with this is I'm always looking for something that might look a little bit different, and this 105 may give me that different look that not many other photographers have got out there, and that's something that really interests me because I always do like to try something different. The 135 also interests me, but I'm definitely going to try both of these lenses before I make a decision on which one to buy. Yeah, I will. I'll listen to it afterwards and just see if it sounds right. Peter said, to me, the left audio sounds a little louder than the right in this video. It should be on mono, though. It must be a YouTube thing because I'm looking at the signal on my thing here and it's showing mono. So they're both coming through as a definite thing. It must be something going on in YouTube, I think. Peter said, to me, the left audio channel sounds different than the right. Yeah, so it must be something weird. I'm not sure what's going on there. Perhaps it is a, perhaps it just is a YouTube thing. Bulldog said, waiting on a lens. I got the a7 III already. Which lens is it? The Tamron or is it another lens? Bulldogs, let me know. So just to let you know what's going on over the next coming days, I will. Please have a look at the video I just posted of Kiara in the studio yesterday. I've got a couple more of those coming up in the coming days as well. I've got 3 parts to that. I think there's one with her sitting down on a chair, and there's one with her lying down on the floor. And it's great to sort of show you how posing and everything is done, and how I work in a studio with these models. So it works fantastic for that. It's also good to see the lighting setup. Now, when you're looking at those videos, please don't think you've got to go and buy ProPhoto. You'll get exactly the results no matter what flash system you're using. It's just that I've got ProPhoto in the studio. But if you're using Godox or anything else, you get exactly the same results. As long as you meter the same as I did, you'll get exactly the same results. It's more, have a look at the way I pose Kiara and the things that I did with her and things like that. So look at it from that aspect, and that's where you really should be looking at what's going on with those videos. So I've got, like I said, one coming up soon with her sitting down on a chair, and then also one where she's lying on the floor. And the interesting thing is that you might find too how much Kiara has improved in her posing as she's been working with me extensively over this time now. She's become more and more confident in what she does now, and it's really starting to pay off for her. And I've really enjoyed doing it that way. And some people have said to me, why are you constantly just working with her? And what I've decided to do is it makes it much easier for me, to be honest, because most of the shoots that you'll see are paid shoots that I was always shooting with girls. I really couldn't really let loose and do what I wanted to do completely because they were paid to do the shoot that they were with me, and that's everything that you've seen so far. Like even the smoke shoot that I did the other day that you'll see if you post it online. That was paid, so they paid me to do that shoot. Whereas Kiara has paid to do shoots with me. She's in a modelling group that I'm doing, but I asked her to work outside of that and work with me continuously for a while to see how it goes. And I've really enjoyed it because, like I said, I've been able to do things that I never would have done before. We work so well together. After a while, the girls start to relax and their personality comes through, and that's what you're seeing with Kiara in those videos, that her personality has come through. It's great for you guys too because you build a relationship with these people, like you've built a relationship with me and you've built a relationship now with watching how Kiara has grown and everything else. So I'm probably going to keep doing this. And once Kiara is sick and tired of whatever we're doing, I'm then going to advertise for another girl to do something similar again that I can work with constantly for, say, around about that 12 months mark, build up their portfolio so they'll get amazing images and amazing videos. They'll learn how to pose and do everything else. But two, you build that relationship and you guys will see that relationship built as well. So I think I'm probably going to go down that line, and let me know what you think about my thoughts there. But that's what I'm thinking about doing that, and I think it's worked fantastic so far, and I'm really enjoying it, and you know, and I really want to keep going down that avenue. It's very hard to find really good models because initially when girls hire you, they are just starting or building their portfolio, and then it doesn't make them very good to film because they're very shy and withdrawn, and you know, they're not very confident. Whereas when you start to work with a girl continuously, like I have with Kiara, they get over those things and then their personality starts to come through and you become more like friends, and that's where I think it's been so fantastic. But yeah, let me know what you think about that in the live chat, guys, because I'd love to know what you guys think about that. But I have had some people say when I'm posting Kiara all the time, oh, but you're just posting Kiara, but there's no issue with that because everything I've been posting has been different. But for me, it's more about sharing what I do. It's more about sharing things for her, and also letting you guys see how people grow together as well in that type of relationship. So yeah, let me know what you think. Anyway, I'd be curious to know. Andrew said, on my iPad, the audio sounds like you're peaking. Well, that's interesting. I'll turn it down just a touch. 1, 2. Yeah, it's not showing peaking. Looking at the Sigma 20mm versus the 24, thoughts? Well, probably if it was me, I'd get the 20 over the 24. I'd just like it to be a little bit wider. But that's me. I'd always, if I'm going to be on 24, to be honest, I will then jump to 35. I'm not really interested in 24. I'd go for a 20 over a 24. Trevor Pinicky said, do we need another bokeh master? We have the Zeiss 35 and the Canon 35 and the Sigma 85 and Canon 85 1.2. Well, the interesting thing is, Trevor, that I have used the Canon 85 1.2 and I did adore the look of that lens, and that's why I'm interested to see how this 105 is. And I want to try it. I think, to be honest, yes, you have got a lot of lenses around there, but you've got nothing that has, I think, is a similar look to what that will have. So it's going to be interesting, but I'll let you know when I can get my hands on one and see whether it's worthwhile or not. Ross said, has anyone seen any comparison of the Tamron 2875 and the Sony 24105? No, we haven't yet, I don't think. You sound louder than normal. Try turning the volume down. All right, so I'm going to turn this volume down now and let me know if it improves. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So is that 1, 2, 1, 2? Is that any better, guys? So let me know if that's improved the volume. So I'd be curious to know now. So test 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let me know with that. What else? Lance said, you and Kiara work so well together. Yeah, we do, and I've been having a ball working with her. Bulldogs Kiara's awesome. I think she is too. Lance said, audio seems fine as usual. Afternoon from Maui. Good to see you from over there. Serenity Photo says, just got the Explorer 600 and the Rapid Box XXL. Can't wait to use it. That'll be fantastic. You'll get some great results from that. I am Brown, and the last 3 minutes seems the audio is normal, but something about first 56 was off. Well, I wonder if, yeah, I've turned the volume down a touch, so perhaps that's what it was. Perhaps the volume was just peaking just a little bit too high. So perhaps it was that. Yeah, audio sounds better. Okay, there you go. So I must watch what that's set at. It was on -6 before, and now I've got it set to -12. So, oh well. But what if you crop the 85 1.2 a bit? I might just get the 105 1.4. Yeah, well, I'd wait and see first, Will, what that lens is like before you make that decision, because it's not going to be cheap. And it may be that you'd be happy with the 135. So perhaps like me, wait until you've seen someone using both of those lenses, and then you can make a decision which way you'd like to go. Like I said, I definitely want one of those lenses, though. I definitely want the 135 or the 105. But I'm just waiting to see what they're like. And I want to see how they focus, things like that as well. I want to see if they're silent for video. There's multiple things that I'd like to try before I do that. Yeah, it's better. I've kept it turned down a bit, Steve, so that's interesting. Regino said, hard to find models. It is. Well, to be honest, I don't really have trouble finding models that have paid me to shoot them. But it's hard to find really good models that you can do what I'm doing with, which is to share online and to do things that you really want to do. And so that's an issue. If they're being paid, if they're paying you to do a job, that's the issue. That, see, Dan's now saying it's too low. So it's interesting, because if they're paying me to do a job, well, then what I've got to do is I've actually then got to say, really work for them rather than working for me and them, in other words. Whereas if I'm doing like I am with Kiara now, I can suit it more to suit what I'd like to share, and she's still getting amazing images, I believe. So we're both in a win-win scenario, and it's more relaxing. So, yeah. See, Dan's saying too low. So let me know if you reckon that's too low. Everyone's saying better. I really like watching you and Kiara. Can you do a video about Canon lenses and Sony bodies? Well, it's hard, Jeff. I can if I can get some lenses and the adapter. I just haven't got Canon lenses, so it's hard with me to get lenses and an adapter. So, you know, one day perhaps if one of the viewers here that lives local may want to lend me an adapter and some lenses, and I can do it. I have done that with the, when I did the color test one. That was the only time that I've done it with the camera lenses. I'm certainly open to doing it though, Jeffrey. Definitely. Alan said, has anyone tried the new Glow EZ lock modifiers compared to the Parapops? No, I don't even know what that is, Alan. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Ross said, David, do you ever talk about how awesome the Wacom tablet is to work with? No, I should do a video about that, Ross, because I do use it all the time. I'm holding the pen now. I do use it all the time. Too low, is it? I might turn it up a fraction. And then let me know if that then comes in correct. So 1, 2, 1, 2, test. That's now peaking at 6. So let me know if that's better at 6. So I've just turned it up to 6. I mean, this will be more for next week. I unplugged this device because I actually unplugged it to put in... I used it for the wedding that I just did, so that's the reason why the settings have all changed. What else have we got? Thanks, mate. Diamond Round, David Oastler, just figured how to fold the charging tent back down. Oh, okay. So are there any last questions, guys? Please leave your questions down below. I do answer all the questions personally, and you can check that. I always make sure I answer everything. So please, if you've got anything you'd like to know about anything we've discussed today, I will put the links to these things in the box now. Don't forget to join us in the photography videography school. That's growing like crazy, and it is the place where I love you to put in things in contact with me. So that is the best place to do that. So yes, and I will do a Wacom tablet. Yeah, talk about that one day as well, little Ray Blue. So it's just about coffee time for me, guys. So I'm going to head out. Don't forget, if you'd like to pop in and come in onto the $1 million wall lens reviewing device that I've got, patented under David Oastler. You can contact me about that as well. Roger said, call me. Roger, Adobe question. How is the resolution on the A7 III when cropped? You can crop in reasonably well on that, about a third I find, and it's no problem at all. It's fine. I tend to try and shoot with very little cropping though, Regina. I actually try if I can to get it as much right in camera as I need to. So I very rarely crop that much, to be honest. I don't crop much at all. But you can, yes. You can crop a third easily and really have no penalty loss. What else? I'd love to see how you shot your vid with Kiara in the forest, maybe editing. Yeah, I should have kept that, but I deleted that because they're so big, these files, and I deleted the actual files. I have got the original files, but I haven't got the editing version. But to be honest, there was very little done with that lens because I shot in the standard profile, and you know there wasn't much that I needed to actually do. The thing that you've got to make sure you do is you've got to nail the exposure. And that's what I did with that. I made sure that I really did nail the exposure. And I'll be talking about these videos when I do a review on the 55mm, because I want to do a review on that and how good that is with the A7 III and for video and stills. And I'll do a separate video on that soon. And that's about it. All right, guys. That's about all for now. So, like I said, leave any questions down below. And I'll get back to you all soon with answering all those questions. Have a great day. It's time for coffee in my New York accent. And I'll see you all soon for the next video. Stay tuned tomorrow for another of Kiara's videos, though. Bye for now. Catch you guys.